A canvas black with whispers gold, stories untold, secrets unfold, diamonds scatter where the shadows sleep, infinite skies, a promise to keep, beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide, above our heads a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting galaxies were like painted streams, brushing the edges of our dreams. Planets hum their silent tune, chasing the sun, kissing the moon. We look but don't see, we forget to believe, beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide, above our heads a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting nebulous bloom in colors untamed, every spark a fire unclaimed, hidden glory just out of sight, a quiet roar in the endless night, beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide, above our heads a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting shade, a fleeting
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Skytour Livestream. How are you doing today? Welcome to this most spectacular stream. If only, right? I want this to be the best stream you've ever seen. Ever. Yeah, I try. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Skytour Livestream. It's a wonderful night. And unlike the other night, tonight is actually vacant of high clouds, so I think we'll have even better viewing. I got a few things I want to look at tonight that I want to take you with me on the ride. Now this right here, the star we're looking at, this is called Capella. It's the brightest star in Auriga, the constellation. What's Auriga? Well, here's Auriga. Let's bring it up. So as we zoom out, you can see that it's a character that has what look like sheep, right? Or goats. It's a goat herder, and Capella and the kids. The kids are the little goats, and there's 3 stars. Now, this visual isn't, of course, accurate, right? I mean, oh, heck, we know that there's not even real people in the sky. But that said, this is kind of cool. So we are way up there. This is the zenith, by the way. So we're looking at a horizon view. Okay, so down here is the horizon, and then up here is the zenith of the sky. And guess what? Up at the zenith, we have this really cool constellation of Auriga, the goat herder. And within Auriga, there's so many cool things to see, and we're going to take a look at some of them tonight. All right, and then as luck would have it, we will move on to some other things. You know, we've got plenty of things to see in Orion and Monoceros and other places, and we'll get to those. We'll get to those, hopefully tonight. If not, we have the rest of the season to do it, right? So, I want to welcome everybody here. I see that Sally Forth, once again. First time, first person. Donald Kunzer's with us. Michael is with us. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Mr. Django from Belgium. Good morning. Over there. And Sam S. is with us. That's nice. Galactic Volcano. Thanks for coming back. Good to see you, brother. Kathy Messick. Hiya, Kathy. Bob, C&D boy. How you doing? And Galactic is with us. It's nice to see you. And we have A Lion here. Hey, man. How you doing? You know, and if you get a chance, Ron Regier, good friend. If you get a chance, do subscribe, hit the like. And as I said in the announcement, if you want one of those cool T-shirts that's in our announcement, it's yours with a $25 minimum donation if you want to do that. We are a 501c3. I don't take a dime for what I do. I probably should, but I don't, and I won't. And none of us do in the company, the 501c3 nonprofit, because we believe in the passion of astronomy. We don't have to get paid for it. Now, if down the line it becomes self-sustaining, well, that's fine. You know, that's a different story. But I am not going to do that anytime soon or in the foreseeable future. So a little different look on the screen here. I got the telescope visualization right there, and below it is the coordinate systems for the telescope. I exposed this. This is a speed slider, so I can, you know, change the speed of the telescope movement. That's called slew rate, SLEW. Whoa, satellite went right through. All right, so for those who haven't been here before, I'll show you just quick. All right, I'll give you a little tour because I like giving tours. Okay, these are the observatory. This is the observatory telescope that we're seeing here. These are 2 cameras looking at the same telescope. So we're seeing an 11-inch system here and the same one here, just from a different vantage point. Down here is the visualization, as I told you, and this is one of the telescope controls down here that you see. Here's the main view. Ta-da! That's Capella, beautiful star right there, yellow star. And then up here we have the camera. These are the camera menu, and we have the exposure, okay, which is how long we're going to expose the sensor for. And then we have another one called the gain. Now, a longer exposure at higher gain means you get more data. The problem is when you're using a digital system like this, and we are using a cooled camera. It's actually a camera cooler that's built into the camera, so it takes it down to -20. The current temperature is -20 in our telescope camera, -20 Celsius. All right, and that cool temperature allows us to put the gain up a little higher. Okay, so I have the gain set to 200 right now, and that will be our operating gain, sensitivity in other words. And then the exposures can work around that, right? So then down here we have what's called a histogram, and you can see what if I just click this right here, okay, what you get is you'll see that Capella gets a lot smaller. And why is that? Because we're not doing any processing on it. If I add some processing, you can see some of the background stars. It's sort of artificial. It helps us see what's going on. All right, and then down below, this is the actual telescope control that I'll use. All right, and down below is the focusing control down there. So what we do is we use all of these things in concert to be able to show you what's going on the screen over here. All right, and it'll frame everything that we do. Down the bottom of the screen here on the right, these are the filters that we have. You can see them down there. We have a radian filter, a UHCS, and this is a star analyzer 100, which is actually just a grading, so we see rainbow colors. In fact, I can show you what a Capella looks like right now. Just put this on, I'll click it, and the filter wheel will change, and boom. Now you see this is the spectrum of this particular star, right? And you'll notice that it looks like it has some bands in there, and that's because it does. These are dark bands called absorption lines that are produced by Capella, and this is overdone here. This is more normal here. And our new system we're going to get will allow us to examine the lines in here even more deeply and literally decipher things like what's in that comet we're looking at. Okay, what's it made of? Stuff like that's kind of important, you know. This other filter called the Radian, it's actually a filter that actually takes a narrow slice through the image and uses only a small amount of frequencies on either side. So the one we use is the one that does kind of like the best of both worlds, and that's this UHCS filter. You can look that up and see. And then we do this to bring up the histogram, which it's called, and show what we're looking at. Now we're not doing anything but a 1 second exposure right now, and we're gonna take this telescope now, and we're gonna go back to our planetarium view, and we're here. Okay, and I'll show you right here. There we are at Capella. And what we're gonna do now is go over and look for an object here. We're gonna come down to this red cloud you see here. It's called the Flaming Star Nebula, and we're gonna go there and take a look at what the flaming star looks like. There we go. You see the telescope's moving a little bit up there. Okay, and right now we are here where there's a bunch of something going on. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay at 200, and we're gonna do a quick guide scope acquisition. We're going to grab now the stars in the area, and we're going to actually look for a bunch of stars to guide on. And it got the star I was hoping right there. I could have grabbed it if I wanted to. So it's guiding perfectly. So what I'll do now is I will just do a 15-second quick shot to see if we are exactly where we need to be. I think we're going to have to go up a little higher here, but that's okay. So I'm going to go from here into our deep sky mode, and we'll have our shot come in here in a moment. This is our stacking screen. We stack images on top of each other to make them look really, really good. And let's see now what we've got. Yeah, it's over here. You can see the red. Okay, you can see the red over here. So what we'll do is we're gonna come out of here, but what I'll do actually is something else. I'm gonna come over here and take this, and I'm going to say plate solve and then resync. So now it's gonna find where we are, and it's gonna move the telescope exactly where we want it to be. There it goes. So it's gonna move it a little bit. All right. So now, and of course, I knocked off our guide star when I did that. That was kind of intentional. All right, so now what I'll do is I'll bring us back to this particular star that I want us to look at, because that's where it's all going down. All right, so we're gonna go, let's see, I gotta take my field of view indicator, which is this, right? And that's about what we looked at, yeah. So I'm going to take us up to here. Okay, so there we go. I'm moving the telescope to there. We should see these two stars in here. Okay, and there we go. And we come back here, and we'll see that we have, now let's look and see what we are. We are upside down, maybe. Yeah, we're actually, this star here should be the brightest, and then we see down below, we see these two. So this one and then those two. So we are looking good. So this is about where I want to be. Let me just look at this one more time. we're here, and it's over here on the left. Oh, sorry. Over here on the left, like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move down a little bit because we want to get into the thick of this right here. But we'll try this right now because there's enough in here too. I'm looking for some of the best nebulae in here, so we're going to do now a 35-second exposure, but not until we grab a guide star. So let's actually, I'm going to do this first. Let's get a new image. Grab a guide star. Okay, like that. Away we go. Let it stabilize. There, move the telescope so that that peak is in the middle of those crosshairs. So now it's guiding. So what I can do now is kick off our 35-second exposure, which has already done it. And then off we go. Now, if any of you have any questions in the chat, I'm all yours. So just let me know if you do, and I will be happy to answer them. First of all, I also want to say hello. I said hi, hello to Alien. That's a really good nickname there, Alien. Okay, and Mr. Django. Tim F is with us. Daisy and Zoe, nice to see you. I did say hi to you, Ron, but I'll say it again. Hi, Ron Regier. Ron Regier is one of the coolest guys on the planet. Oh, this is coming out nice. So now, Ron has got a specialty that's really, really interesting. And I used him actually for one of my very important talks I did because Ron was, I considered the expert on it. You know, I've said this before. My mother was Native American in part, a New England tribe. But unlike the southwestern indigenous peoples, the New England tribes didn't make things on cave walls and into cliff sides. They didn't peck any information, okay? However, the southwestern Indians did. And there's people that study this, and there's people that examine this stuff all the time. And one of those people is with us tonight. It's Ronald Regier, who is in the chat. He is an amazing human being with an awful lot of knowledge about ancient peoples and the messages they tell. As one of my talk was called "Drawn in Stone," and I actually had Ron in the audience for this when I gave it in Denver. And Ron, I think, where's Ronald? I don't know if okay, Ron, I didn't give you the ability to put a link in. I'm sorry, but if you actually type out your link, I'd like people to see information. I believe you have a book out there that they should see. All right, so that'll be Ron's job. He's gonna go get you and type in the title of his book so you can look him up online. It's a fantastic book. Okay. All right, so now here you can see this is the beautiful, beautiful juxtaposition of the red nebula that we often see and the blue. All right, now what we're looking at is a nebula that has a bunch of dark material mixed into it, and this dark material is dark dust. Now it's like micron-sized dust particles and molecules, and what happens is the star here will actually have its starlight reflected off the dust effectively. It's actually scattered off the dust, but don't worry about that. It's reflected off the dust, and when it reflects straight off the dust, we see the blue component of the star's light, because the blue component is the one that actually is the most affected, right? So when we look at this nebula, we see the blue component. We also see some dark material in here. This is not a void in space. This is actually dark material, okay? And this dark material silhouettes, the nebula behind it. You see you can see a little brighter red here. The brighter areas are more dense hydrogen areas. The red is hydrogen, ionized hydrogen. So this is a region of glowing gas, and the brighter it is, the more dense the cloud is, okay? Because to ionize hydrogen here is the same amount of effort to ionize the hydrogen here. This isn't more affected than this. This is denser, so it looks brighter. All right, and it does paint an image of what this whole nebula looks like. All right, so that's pretty cool. So this is what we call the Flaming Star Nebula. All right, and it's known as the Flaming Star Nebula. We're going to set that as the target for tonight right off the bat. Okay, and then I'll save it. So we can save it exactly as you see it here with these annotations. So if you want to look at it later, you can see exactly what we're looking at. And then I'll just start the process of saving this. So I'll save it and save it exactly as seen. There we go. Okay, so now when we look at the image, you'll notice that our guiding is doing great. If we come back to our guider, there we go. Our star is being kept dead in the middle. Unlike the other night, you might remember, when we had a problem because of the fact that the dang wind was blowing up a storm and making it difficult for us. Speaking of storm, we are in the middle of a blizzard outside that's going to be kicking into full-blown hysterics here very soon. And what's going on with the blizzard here is that we got 1.5 feet of snow a week ago, and overnight we're going to get 22 inches, almost 2 feet of snow. I'm in Connecticut. This only should happen like in Canada somewhere, you know, but it's happening here in Connecticut too. We're going to have a blizzard conditions actually. Yay, lucky us. So this nebula is looking beautiful. Flaming star. And what we're going to go after this is going to be kind of cool too. You're going to like what we see here and there. Okay. So we'll let that percolate a bit. Let's go over here. Okay. So, I just want to say further hellos. Galactic Volcano, good to see you. Donald Kunzer, I said hi to, I believe. And Michael Hedrick, I said hi to you as well. And Fred Phonebone, what's up? Yeah. Fred, man. So, Daisy and Zoe, it's snowing as asparagus. It's asparagus off here. That's pretty cute. Nice. Yeah, Stellarium is a fantastic product, and we are using it, obviously, as you can see, to control the telescope. To possibly control a telescope. We're not actually doing a direct telescope control with Stellarium if we don't want to, but we can use it, and I tend to use it to do that. But we have other mechanisms for getting the thing to drive around. Look at this. Look at this now. See, you reach a threshold, guys. And I'm going to drop that down for a minute. We reach a threshold, see this? Where the noise that we were seeing in the image sort of all of a sudden doesn't look as bad anymore. And what happens is, every time you double the number of exposures, you literally cut the noise in half effectively. And so now the image looks way better than it did just moments ago. We can start to zoom in and take advantage of the chip and the sensor that is now at 38%. We could go to 100%, but if we do that, okay, here is 50, 60, 70. Okay, we go here, and now we go up here and you say, wow, that's not very focused. There's a lot of noise in there. That's true. However, what happens is, as we take in more data, this is our data curve here, we can move this guy closer and closer and closer to be able to show what's going on in there better. If we do that too early, like kind of now, you see it gets really noisy, nasty. But left to its own, This would, at this point, with 14 images at 35 seconds apiece, let's see what it thinks is a good position. Yeah, I was going to say. So right here, this is the optimum processing for this right now because it shows the most data without corrupting it with noise. Of course, I'm not happy with that. I don't want to make you wait, and I can push this, it's called, push this a little, and you can start to see some of the detail in this nebula. You now see more blue showing up. You also see dark areas. You see some blue areas. It's actually kind of neat. Let me go here and increase the quality. Sharon and Katie, hello again. And it says Sharon and Hayden. Hey, well, that's very nice. Where in Texas are you, Sharon? I was just talking to friends down there. And Pookerson is here. Hey, man. How you doing? And Rhiannon is here. Rhiannon Alley's a cool filmmaker, too. She's right there in the chat. She's got neat stuff. Yeah. Of course, I don't want to tell you she lives in Florida. Yeah, Florida. I got 2 feet of snow coming overnight, and she's saying, Florida, it's 70 here today. Okay, Ree, I got you. She's funny. Pearl in Texas. Okay, very cool. And Pookerson says, trying to stay warm here in NYC. I know kidding. Pookerson, where does all the snow go in New York City? Obviously, they carted it out of the city. You know, Rhiannon, I'm gonna put you in a timeout. Flip flops down here? No. Rhiannon's in. I'm not gonna put you in a timeout, of course, but that's funny. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I just came back from Arizona, where I was working on this a little bit and working on the other one. We have a few more things to do on the other telescope. We have a breaker that's being overloaded, and we have to replace the breaker. And the person we're going to have do that had an accident with a horse, and he is recovering. So I'm not going to push anybody to go out there. No way. Very, very dedicated, good guy. Toner, hey man, Toner's with us. So look at this. See how it's coming out now? This is really pretty. And let's see. I'll do this. Let me fit the height of the whole image. So it does that. So that when I bring this in, it'll show us the whole image. I'm going to redock it, and it'll adjust the shot. Here we go. So there's the image we're looking at. Look at all that nebula in there. Hard to believe, isn't it, that in most places in the galaxy you look, you're going to see red nebulae somewhere. And it's hard to believe, but I'll tell you one thing. It's actually something that makes sense because hydrogen gas is the most plentiful element in the entire universe. And we have our first request of the evening. Galactic says, I want to look at Betelgeuse. Okay, we will do that. We will do that. Pookerson says it turns into gross slush over the next few weeks until it all melts. Yeah, I had to do some filming at A&E a few weeks ago, and the streets weren't snowy per se, but I've been there when it was very snowy and nasty, and as you say, Pookerson, slushy. And you go to step off the curb, and no matter what you do, you're going to step in a puddle. And there's nothing like feeling that frigid, cold slush penetrating through your shoes and getting in your socks. Nothing like that. I'm sure you can relate. Okay. All right, so we got 21 shots here. This is good. We will save this. This is, again, the nebula known as the Flaming Star. It's called the Flaming Star because this star looks like it's burning, flaming. Now, obviously, it's fusing and it's very, very hot. It's millions of degrees in its core and several thousand degrees at the surface. All right. In fact, in the case of this particular star, okay, let's grab that star. This is a 09.5. It's one of the hottest stars in the universe. An 01 star and 02, 03, etc. before it are hotter. But it's a hot blue star. And of course, that hot blue star is definitely going to ionize any gas around it. And the blue light from that star is going to get scattered by the little particles of dust. That's why we see blue everywhere. Okay? So that's what this is doing. And it's really, look at the size of the nebula it's affecting. Many, many light years. It's affecting many, many light years of size and of an area. Now, theoretically, if we did the other end of the flaming star down here, we could see that this would continue down and oh, it's really beautiful. And with our wide field system, you see the entire flaming star. And when we do that, you'll see. Now, when that's online again and we get the breaker fixed, we're going to be able to show you that. All right, so this is a beautiful image amongst the most beautiful of this object we've been able to take. And we get more. I can pull this in closer and do that. All right, so there's 25 shots. Perfect place to stop. Save exactly as seen. Okay, now, what happens when I say save exactly as seen? Well, we don't just show you things. You get them. And where do you get them? You get them at skytourlive.org. You go to skytourlive.org, scroll down to I Want Cool Pictures, read the instructions, click on the link, and it takes you to our database where you can download this very picture you just saw. In fact, this picture. Now it's going to come up in the way here. Let me see if I can get that to come up. Yeah. So this picture is up on the server probably right now as we speak. And you can go grab it and download it if you want. All yours. Free. No charge. Okay. All right. There we go. Oh my gosh. Sharon and Katie. Oh my gosh. Hey, you guys. The offer stands. If you want one of our t-shirts. All right. In fact, you should get two. If you'd like, give me 2 sizes. I'll make a note of it. And then I will make sure that you get them. I'll need your address and information. The other way you can get to us is by, see that email at the bottom? contactskytour@gmail.com. You don't have to give me any of that information now. Go right down here. Go to Skytour, contact skytour@gmail.com. All right? And when you do that, you're going to reach me, or you'll reach Marianne, or you'll reach Tara. There's 3 of us in this nonprofit. And for that donation, you get 2 t-shirts. All right? So, and just give me the sizes you want, all right? Now, it doesn't mean, well, maybe it does. If someone gives us, like, more than that, they'll get 3 t-shirts, I guess. Yeah, for every $25, you get a t-shirt. Marianne's probably going to hate me for that. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, come on, these people deserve it. Nah, she's a sweetheart. She'll be okay. All right, so that's beautiful. Thank you, Sharon. That's fantastic. Unbelievable. That's what this is all about. You know, people get excited enough to do that. I'm very happy. Thank you. All right. And now what I'll do is go to our request object. You'll see Betelgeuse over here. It's actually down here. Let me get over here. Down we go. Back out. All right. There's Murphec. And then over here. Let's go here. All right, Ursa Major. We're up in the north. Want to go over to here. There we are, and there's Orion. Okay, the moon is right there, and the moon, it's okay. I mean, our this telescope's better at the moon than the wide field, but it's beautiful. So Betelgeuse, you want to see? Betelgeuse, you shall see. So I told it to go, and that tone you hear is our system saying, I've lost focus, but that's okay. And I will go to our 1 second shot, and there's Betelgeuse. Now, it's going to move its way in. Now, interesting thing about Betelgeuse, when we, and this is actually, I'll give you a part of my talk that I just finished putting together, because I'll be giving this talk on my Sunday show next weekend on the Unexplained Network. It'll be the debut show. I've been doing this Sky Tour Radio for years on KGRA, but KGRA is I don't know, there's some problems, I guess. And so I had other networks saying, please come here. And so I finally took them up on the offer. And the Unexplained Network, you can reach it in a way that I don't know yet. I'll have to figure that out. It's called Unex. But I want to tell you a few things about this star, which is kind of cool. Now, first of all, we're looking at this star as it was about 640 years ago. Okay? So 640 years ago, this star's light left us. The light we're seeing right this second. And it left 640 years ago. It entered our eyes here on this telescope and was lost forever. So you're the last persons to see the light. Now, but I like to flip things around and say, what was going on Earth at that time? Well, back then it was 1384, and the Black Death had just ravaged the planet. Okay, it devastated Europe, caused all kinds of problems throughout Europe, really sent people back into the Dark Ages further. And at that time, while the Black Death was ravaging Europe, the Ming Dynasty in China was just beginning to flourish. And that's what happened when the light you see tonight at Betelgeuse left Betelgeuse. Okay? This very light that you're seeing. That's what was going on Earth. If you were on Betelgeuse looking at Earth when this light was emitted, all right, you would have seen it. Actually, if you were Betelgeuse right now looking back at Earth, you'd see the Ming Dynasty coming up. You'd see that the Black Death was just ravaging our planet. Right? So the universe is a time machine, and that's what this talk is about, is showing that dynamically with all this stuff. So that said, hey Ronald. Ronald is ERT Radio. Nice to see you. Yeah, so again, Sharon and Katie, make sure you go to this email, contactskytour@gmail.com, and connect and tell me what shirts you want. All right, you win the 2-shirt package tonight. All right. Now these rings you see around Betelgeuse are a product of the system. Okay, I can get rid of them by just dropping the amount of overprocessing, and now you see this. Okay, and this is not the actual diameter of Betelgeuse. The actual diameter of Betelgeuse is thousands of times smaller than that image you're seeing right there on the screen. However, it is one of the few stars, along with Antares, that we've actually been able to image its actual size. And what's fascinating about Betelgeuse is that we can see that it's got a turbulent surface. It's got bubbles coming off of it. It's not round. It's not a sphere. It's got this oblate bumps coming off of it. And these are large-scale convection cells pushing material out off Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is a red supergiant. Okay? It's a red supergiant. And this red supergiant is one that is so big that if you put it where the sun is, it would go all the way out to Jupiter's orbit, just about. Okay, that's a radius of 5.2 astronomical units. That's 5.2 times 93 million miles. Do the math. It's pretty far, right? So it's an actual star that has a over 10 astronomical unit diameter. And by the way, it's not the biggest star there is. How about that? There's a lot of stars that are a little bit bigger. It's pretty cool. Really, yeah. And Galactic says it's shrinking now. Well, it's actually it's changing, because what happens is its diameter fluctuates because of these large scale flare and prominence events coming off of it like this. So that's true. Really neat. Okay, and Ronald says Onyx is real easy to find on Facebook. Very good. Yep. Yeah. I have, like, on KGRA, I must have over 100 shows I've done on KGRA. So now I have another network to start building them up on. You know. All right, so there's Betelgeuse, and you know what? I'm gonna do this. I actually looked for a photo of Betelgeuse the other day that we may have taken. Let me just get rid of this and do this and do that. Okay, that's more actually a little over colored. If I put it to the proper color, it's going to be more like that. Okay, really cool. All right, and what I'll do is I'm going to bring this back a little bit, and then I'll just call it Betelgeuse and I'll save it, because why not? That way, if you want a picture of it, you can get a picture before it's gone supernova. Who knows? It might be the only picture of it taken before it goes supernova. If it happened right now, the whole screen would get white. We wouldn't see it. It would be too bright. I have to knock the exposure way down, and it's 1 second. And then it'll be bright enough to see during the day. So that's why it would be really, really crazy. All right. Okay. Mark the the Black Plague. Oh, I see. Okay. Galactic said, Mark, the Black Plague. It was because all of the electricity was fried from the shockwave, maybe? Well, actually, back then, there wasn't electricity like any other time. I mean, there was nothing but campfires and fires during the Black Plague. But maybe the electricity in the atmosphere could have contributed in some... Oh, that's nice. Some strange way. Possibly. Oh, look at that. Good thing I did. I should have... I actually never actually was guiding on it, but I'm going to do that just to get my shot of it. All right, let's do this. It likes small stars. All right, so there we go. Okay. All right, it's just centering it. It's settling down, and we're going to be bringing this in. All right, so let's clear this. Here we go. And we stack 4, 5, 6, go up to 10. This is good. Thanks, Bob, for putting up our links. That's very nice. Okay, we'll save this now. And save it exactly as seen. I missed it. There we go. Okay. Alright, so now let's go back to another feature that I want to look at in Auriga. If anyone has any other things they'd like to see, just call them out and we'll see if we can get there. If we can do it. There's a lot going on out here, let me tell you. Let's go back to Auriga for a bit and let's go find over here. It's literally almost right overhead. This is gonna be probably a beautiful image. Flaming star, and right near the flaming star is the spider and the fly. Alright, and there's another one too, the letter Y cluster. And we're going to go that one, and I'll tell you why. You'll see. Let's go back. Fred Phoneboom wants to see the Horsehead Nebula. Okay. Noted, and I'm sure we can do it. Alright, we'll stop on that. Okay, we're looking straight up now at the letter Y cluster. You can see why it says letter Y. Y. Okay. However, I want to... it's dead center too, which is very nice. And so what I'm going to do is come back here, center up on this, and I want to grab a particular feature up here. And it happens to be... where is this? Here? Oh, that might be it. Let's see. The tadpoles. Yes, that's it. All right, so now we're going to move over just a little bit. Okay. And now what we should see down here is a most incredible and beautiful collection of nebulae. Now, it's literally almost overhead, so it should be beautiful. Let's get a new photo and grab a set of guide stars. Nice. That's a perfect star. See, when we're guiding, we want to see a peak right here, a very sharp peak. All right, that tops right out, doesn't go off the page. In other words, have a flat top. Okay, this is good. So now what we'll do is we're going to do this as a 45-second exposure. Okay, I'm going to do one additional thing. I'm going to increase to 250, which is going to make it a little more noisy, but it's going to give us a beautiful view of a most incredible place in space. Okay, so we're going to be doing that now. I'm going into deep sky mode. And we have some wind. Oh yeah, wind has affected us there. So it's going to bring it back. This first exposure is going to be probably off a little bit. There it goes. Now it brought it back. And if it's going to be off a little bit, we'll redo it, but it may or may not. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit. All right, but let's make sure we have our tadpoles here. I'll do this. All right, let's try this. I'm going to do this. Since I have enough stars, I'm going to do... Yeah, I know. We're going to do a 4-second shot here. Take this off for a moment. Increase our view like that, so we'll definitely have no problem. And then we'll do this. We're gonna tell it to tell us where we are and move the telescope in a small way to get to the thing we want. It's 0.04 degrees away. Okay, so moved over just a little more. Okay. All right, so now what we'll do is come back here, get our picture, get our image for guiding again. I'll bring this up so we can see the stars. Do that. Grab a guide star. Perfect. Very nice. Okay, and now we'll do 45 seconds. All right. You see where the telescope's pointing, you can see it's literally looking almost straight up. And if we go to here, right here, that's where it's looking. And what we're looking for is the details in this area right here. This is not a very good photo, by the way. It's also not exactly the tadpoles. This is where they are. So I'm going to move our telescope because that's more like where it has to be. So we'll just do that one more time. Yeah, pretty though. Look at that. Whee! Okay, and this will be 45 seconds. Go to our live stack, and now what we're going to see is the tadpoles. It's an area where there's a lot of hot young stars that are causing a lot of this ionization of the gases. Hydrogen mostly. And if you see the regular blue, like the royal color blue, all right, or the blue like you see in this bar here, then we're looking at reflection nebula. But if it looks like a teal blue, then it's actually an oxygen effect. Okay, I guess it would have helped if I made sure that we're guiding. I should have probably done that. Okay. Yeah. Now I will be guiding, but they're the tadpoles. And let's clear that. Let's make sure we're still guiding. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I go beyond faster than my head comprehends. So hopefully everybody's having a good time out there. Robert Thallium, welcome. Daryl's been under the weather lately, and so hopefully he'll be back. Okay, this one is also not perfect, so I'm gonna give this another shot. Make sure that our wind isn't affecting us. This is our close-up of our guiding system, and you can see that we are guiding on a star out there. Oops, sorry. This doesn't affect it. That's the star. These are all stars. As long as that stays in the middle, we won't have any elongation. It looks like it's got some wind. We are facing right up in the air. Alright, we'll let this play out. Let's add the color in that's needed. So these are called tadpoles because they have this head on them and then this trails off behind. They look like little frog tadpoles. Alright, let me color correct. And let's take our black level right up that white average curve with the red, green, and blue. And there we go. And this probably needs to be a little further down. Reduce some of the noise. You can see that one of the tadpoles has its distinctive features in it. Yes, we're gonna go to the horse head. The horse head is, as other people have told you, the leftmost star in the belt is Alnitak, very hot O-type star. Again, it's only gonna live a few million years, and it's gonna go supernova. In fact, all of Orion's belt's gonna go supernova. Okay, Rhiannon, thank you. That's sweet. Thank you so much. Okay, so we got 3 stacked here now. And if we just drop it down, let it fill the frame, you see a little better what it looks like. This is our tadpole number 1 and tadpole number 2. Alright, so if I tell it to find its spot, it knows where the cluster is, okay? But it doesn't know where the tadpoles are. The tadpoles aren't specifically called out. Now that's only because the database in this software is incomplete. Robin Glover can get only so much done. Okay. Yeah, we are fighting some wind. You can see the stars are slightly elongated. Oh, Rhiannon called me a rock. Thank you. That's very kind. Donald Kunzer is singing. Yeah, very nice super chats. Thank you so much. That's unbelievably wonderful. Okay, let's see here. Hey, Dave in Bangor, Maine. How you doing, man? Wow. Let's see here. I was coming to find something and now I forgot what I was doing. Why does that happen? You forget what you're doing sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, at this point we have stacked 6 images. And we have a little more noise, like I said, because we used the 250 gain and not 200. Okay, so now we've framed it here. And after our Jupiter foray the other night, you may remember we actually caught the shadow of Io, Jupiter's closest moon, hitting the planet's cloud tops, and then we saw Io itself. Io was beautiful red. I did a Facebook post on it, which you probably saw. And what's interesting about all that is that made me think, and Daryl, I was talking to Daryl about it, and he said, did you ever consider getting a planet-specific camera and telescope? And I thought, you know, that's not a bad idea. So what we're looking for is we're going to get a planet-specific telescope that can mount on this one and have its own camera system, so when we go to a planet like Jupiter, we can make sure that we get Jupiter in there, and it'll have a Barlow lens, so it'll be nice and magnified, and we'll be able to do some very spectacular imaging with a very high-end refractor mounted on the telescope. And so I'm looking forward to doing something like that. And that'll be kind of cool. So let's see here. I now remember what I was supposed to do. Yeah, I'll be right with you. You can pull some detail out of this while I'm waiting. Yeah, you're getting more detail now. See how it's coming down here, coming down there? Oh, yeah. Kathy Messick says it's really exciting for planetary viewing. Yeah, I mean, it's not like we did a bad job looking at Jupiter the other night. But what if I told you that I could improve it by about 10 times? I feel that's kind of a good idea, right? When we can look at Mars and see the surface and see the polar caps, see the dark and light areas on Mars with some details. That's kind of a good idea. So I wanted to just make sure I gave Daryl credit for that. He's the one that suggested that. So good idea. Very good idea. All right. All right. Kate in Florida says, refractor is better for planetary viewing. It is in general. They have a better, well, not any refractor, an apochromatic refractor. And here's the difference. When you look at the image we took of Jupiter, you could see there was kind of a bluish side and a reddish side. They actually had some, kind of what they call chromatic aberration. That's because red frequencies and blue frequencies focus at different planes. An apo refractor will puts them all in the same plane, so you actually have all that data is focusing exactly where it should, and that makes sure that the image is absolutely sharp. So it'd be an apo refractor that we get. Did it again. Get out of there. Okay, this is 12 images. We'll save these here. All right, and Dave, how's it going up in Bangor? Kate says that's really great to know. If you're actually gonna get a telescope and you want to look just at planets, talk to me first, and I can figure out what would be the best refractor for you to get. Okay, because I know that there's a number of types out there, and everybody's gonna want you to get theirs. But there are certain kinds you want, and there's certain times you want it. There's certain kinds you want to stay away from. All right. And I'll help you cut through that crap, because I know that, I mean, they're all good. I have, you can't see it, but in the background I have a 4-inch refractor on top of our other 10-inch telescope back here that's in the rehab location behind me in my office here. But I'm in Connecticut, right? The telescope you're seeing here is down in Benson, Arizona. It's like 2,600 miles from me. I'm running it from Connecticut. So, if something happened and we lost power tonight, that'd be trouble. That'd be trouble. But I could get onto my phone and control it that way if I had to. Yep. Thanks, Bob. Bob is fantastic. I mean, he keeps giving out our links and everything. It's really cool. And the other thing, too, I put out a call. I don't know if anyone's interested in this, but I'm looking for someone who can take our streams and add the table of contents in there like Isabella used to do. Isabella's got a lot of work she's doing, so she can't do stuff like that anymore for us. Sweet person. Love her to death. And she comes in now and then. But we're looking for someone to go and figure out the table of contents on our streams. The actual time code where it occurred, and then put in what it is. If that's something that you want to tackle, I'll talk to Marianne and see if we can actually give a small payment for each stream for doing that. I don't know how much we can afford. We're on a shoestring as it is, but be happy to do that if people are willing. Here she is. There's Marianne. Something going on with the telescope? Yeah, look, we got a nice nebula we're showing. No, everything with the telescope's fine. I wanted you to come in and say hi to folks, and I'm glad you did. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what happened with YouTube, guys, but it always adds a number after your name now. I don't know why it's doing that. See, look. Michael Hedrick, Wet Shaves, he doesn't have a number after his, but everybody else does. And Dave in Bangor, Maine. Actually, I don't get that. I don't get why some do and some don't. I have no idea. Marianne, everyone's saying hi to you. I always give kudos to Marianne because as a former cop and now has her own organization called UAPPD, where she takes police reports from around the world even, and talks about police force and law enforcement officers that have actually encountered unidentified anomalies, whether in the sky, whether in the paranormal realm, mostly in the sky. But and so UAPPD is coming along. Marianne, put in your next appearance where you're going to be, because I know you had one coming up, I thought. These are coming out beautiful. Okay, we'll save this with 18. No, I just saved that image, and literally in less than 30 seconds, it'll be up on skytourlive.org. You can go check it out, or skytourlive.com. And when you get up to skytourlive.org or com, you scroll down to I want cool pictures, and you read the instructions. Very simple. Once you do it once, you'll never forget it. And you can just wade into the directories, because they are our research directories, but I'm giving you full access to them. And you can then find this exact photo that was just taken moments ago. Okay, we're going to go to 20 and then stop, and we're going to go to the next object here. Now let's come back out. That's too far out. And I don't want to be near the moon too much. And I'm afraid, well, let's see where this is. Triangulum Galaxy, I'd love to show you, but might be okay. Might be okay. We can see if we can look at the galaxy after this too. With the moon out, the moon's not actually of a very extended phase right now, so it's only part way through its cycle. It's not even first quarter yet. So in other words, from our perspective, it looks like half the moon's lit up. So that's good for us. Okay, there's 20, and I'll save it. Look at those. You see all the detail in there now? That's what happens when you stack. You actually build up the data and remove the noise. Okay, so that's good. So we have that there now. That'll be up there in 20 seconds. Now let's go back to our low light mode. All right. Okay. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mark. If anyone is going to be up in the early morning of Wednesday the 25th, Dave and I will be on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. MST. Okay. That's Mountain Standard Time. Then Tucson, Arizona, MUFON. And I think she ran out of words. She has to show us when that's going to be. No, Donald, you didn't miss the Horsehead. That was one of the ones that we were going to look at. We are going to look at it. Let me just... I know I'm kind of out of order. I promise I will get to it, but I want to get to this guy. All right, because it's actually setting. All right, and I want to show it to you before it fully sets. All right. And then we can go over to the Orion Nebula. I'm sorry, the Horsehead, which is over here in Orion, which is very high up. So we have to do these in the order that the nature compels us. All right, so let's go to that Triangulum Galaxy now. Okay, and the tone saying we are not guiding anymore has just come up. I'll stop that. The telescope is going to flip around, do a Yui. I'm really stressing this thing tonight, aren't All right. And let's see. Let's do a... First of all, let's go here. It says we're there. And it's going to be close. So let me just do a 5-second shot. You can see this glow here, this brightness. That is the glow of the moon nearby. All right, so I will check it out now. That's enough stars. All right, and we are okay. So it's gonna move it, and boom, there it goes. It's a 5-second exposure, but we're gonna go back to the one. Okay, there we go. And now it's right in the middle here. It actually is bigger than this entire screen, but we're gonna see what we can do. Let me do a placement thing. I'm gonna do a 8-second exposure because I want to place one of the features here for you to see. I could actually do it this way probably. Let's wait. There we go. So there's the core of the galaxy. Right, that's the sky, and there's another one over here. So that's dead center, but we're missing one that's out about here, and I want you to see that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, do this 1 second. We're going to move it over, all right, because that's pretty cool. We want to do that. All right. Okay, now we're going to bring it down. There it is. It's right there. That's what I want you to see. It's a very, very large cloud of very hot stars, and it's massive nebulae in there. If you're familiar with our biggest nebulae in our galaxy, this is one of the biggest nebulae in this galaxy. Okay, so first things first, let's go get our guide star. We always want to get our guide stars. We love our guide stars. All right, and let's grab our stars. Perfect star. I was hoping that was the one. All right, beautiful peak. That's excellent. This will be good guiding as long as there's no wind. And now we're going to do at 250. I'm going to drop it down to 200. Okay, and we're going to actually go now to a 45-second exposure. Okay, and then we'll go into our deep sky mode. We will be able to sort of subtract the light pollution from the moon because it can't help but add some light to the sky, and you know the sun adds a lot more light. You'll notice at a full moon, by the way, that when you look around the moon, you notice the color of the sky around the moon? It's blue. Yeah, you look carefully, you'll see, hey, that's kind of blue. And that's because the reflected sunlight off the moon is doing the same thing to the molecules in our atmosphere that the sunlight does directly, but with the moon it's less pronounced. And that's the molecules scatter the blue light in the same way. Okay, so watch this. Okay, look at that. This beautiful nebula. You can even see all the redness in there. Here's the other one. The rest of the galaxy's down here. Again, it's big. So what I'm going to do now is color correct it. All right, and then put this where it wants to be. And that's not where it should be. Okay, but it's going to drop down there. So you're looking now at a galaxy whose light left this galaxy 2.8 million years ago. So this is really cool. And 2.8 million years ago, I mean, we're looking at things outside our galaxy, right? Because the farthest possible thing we can see with our galaxy is the Large Magellanic Cloud, which is 160,000 light years away. and this is 2.8 million light years away. So that's pretty cool. When we look at this guy, we're seeing it as it was, 2.8 million years ago. What was going on? Back then, it was just before the light you're seeing right now started on its journey to here, just before the earliest human ancestors of the Homo genus appeared. Okay, just before then. Okay, Homo habilis had not occurred yet. Homo habilis occurred around 2.4 million years ago. 2.8 hadn't shown up yet. So when this light you're seeing right this second left that galaxy, there were no genus Homo creatures on Earth at that point. And in the time it took that light to go from all the way there to here, all the rest of the history that we now know happened. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Kate asks, I wonder what someone there would see looking at our galaxy. Actually, you probably wrote that before. Actually, what would happen is they would see, if they could have a really, really powerful telescope, they would see that the Earth looked pretty much like it does today. Okay, some final drifting of continents, but things are kind of sort of the same. But they would notice that there weren't any cities, there weren't any structural centers of habitation. It was actually back in the time when the Earth's climate was not stable. I mean, this was just let's see, around the Pleistocene epoch, I think, and we had an ice age going on, and so we had a problem where life, of course, did not live well in the ice age, so we had some type of attrition that occurred from that. But they would see again that there were some primitive apes and so forth. Now, keep in mind that Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, Lucy lived 4.2 million years ago. So if we're looking back 2.8 million years, well, Lucy was already 2 million years in the past or so. Million two. Okay, years in the past. Okay, or 1700. So the bottom line is that Lucy's existence had already occurred, but the genus Homo had yet to show up. All right, when light left that galaxy right there. So that's putting it into a cosmic perspective, and this is all because we're looking at the universe as a time machine, which is what it is. All right, let's see if we can extract a little more data out of this. Look at that. Wow. Nor's ancestry, how you doing? Nor's ancestry here. His grandfather is the one that had Norse background, Norwegian background. If I got that right from last time. Yeah, I'm getting more and more into trying to paint what the universe, the light we see from the universe, the distance it took and what was happening here at the time. Now, keep in mind also that 2.8 million years ago, right, this beautiful big stellar nursery was here in this galaxy. Now, what would it look like today, I wonder? Right? It evolved 2.8 million years on its own as well. So did, that got me dizzy. So did this one. Okay? Notice the filamentary structure in here. All that stuff may have changed over the last, couple million years that this light has been coming to us. So what we're seeing now is not what it looks like now, which is really interesting. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad I got it right. I pay attention. You're the Sky Tour family now, so this is all cool, I try to understand what goes on with you. It's not all about me. So neat. I will let this come in a little longer. Then I'll change the name and set it up. Okay. One little thing I'm doing right now is I gotta do a couple of things here. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Okay, so we got 10 exposures here. This galaxy, it bears saying, here's the spiral arm. You can see it here. There's another one here, another one here. And notice how loose they are. They kind of look messy. That's because this galaxy is kind of one of these loosely wound spiral arm galaxies. And it's been around for billions of years. So the question arises, why didn't this galaxy wind up? It's rotating, so how come the arms didn't wind up? Why isn't this just a cohesive, tight ball of tight-knit, galactically bound, or gravitationally bound stars all swirling around a center? And the reason for that is why we have dark matter as a theoretical construct. Okay? Dark matter was postulated because we noticed that this very fact that galaxies aren't wound up like we would expect them to be. Okay? So when we see a galaxy that has these spiral arms like this, you also have to imagine a halo of other matter that we can't detect in the theory. And that halo is also spinning and carrying the spiral arms along with it a little bit. Now there is differential rotation. See, this starts here, right? But then as it gets farther out, its stuff hangs back. Otherwise, they would just be straight out. Spiral arms would be straight out. There wouldn't be a spiral. It would be straight out. But like Mercury goes around the sun faster, so closer to the galactic nucleus, the stars will rotate and orbit, rather, the nucleus faster, and farther out, they would orbit slower. So they would lag behind, and over time, you'd get a swept-out spiral arm. That's kind of what we're seeing here. Right? But the lag behind is not enough to account for the very time they've been there and for the amount of rotation that the galaxy's doing. So this is why when we look at this, we are perplexed about what this actually means. We postulated this dark matter material effectively as sort of a fudge factor for something we don't understand. And don't confuse that with dark energy. Dark energy is another thing which is very different. That has to do with the expansion of the universe. I talked about that the other night. But think about this. These star-forming regions all occur in the arms of the spiral arms of the galaxy, okay? Because that's where the biggest concentration of stars was made, and the question is, why was that? That's a whole nother cosmological process that we would have to go through to talk about that. And that gets you into studying traffic jams on highways with cars. No kidding. Because studying the nature of a traffic jam on a highway actually gives you clues as to how a galaxy rotates and why they rotate the way they do. Okay? For example, our sun has gone around our galaxy's core 19 and a half times in 4.6 billion years. Around 230 million years on orbit. Okay? We've gone in and out of spiral arms as we did that. We're not riding along in a spiral arm. We've gone in and out of them and just kept going through and keep on going. So what we're looking at is a resonant feature of a galaxy that acts like a traffic jam on the highway, a rush hour traffic jam. The spiral arms are the traffic jam. What does that mean, Mark? I'll tell you what it means, okay? If you were in a helicopter looking down at a traffic jam, you'd see a bunch of cars, and let's say you had a red car coming in. You'd see the red car come in, slow down, travel slow, then get out of the traffic jam and keep going fast again, okay? That's the sun going around the galaxy, right? The little red car. And if you notice, every other car is doing the same thing. They're approaching the traffic jam, getting part of it, slowing down, bumper to bumper, then they break out and go. But it's a traveling knot of cars. Follow? And that traveling knot of cars is what a spiral arm is. It's a traveling knot of stars. All right? So, in the same way that we have these knots of stars, we have traffic jams of cars. Kind of rhymes. So, stars and cars kind of goes together. So anyway, that's how this works. It's a really interesting science to talk about that. The actual technical name for what we're seeing in the traffic jam is a density wave. And this is a density wave. It's a basically like a water wave of density of stars, higher density. And the tricky part is understanding that the stars are going through that, and that when they get bound up in that density wave, why do they even slow down? Well, as they get into a tighter knot of stars, there's more gravitational forces to play with, and so they tend to get pulled and prodded in other directions. So they're not just going in a straight line anymore. They're doing this as they're going through, and that effectively slows them down. The fastest way through is in a straight line, but they get into the density wave and they start doing this, and they slow down, then they go fast again. Okay, so that's kind of what we're seeing here. That's sort of how that works. So now you actually have a full understanding, as Fred Fonbone said, density waves. Yes, you have a fuller understanding of galactic rotation, and it has to do with the density of the stars in a spiral arm. All right, so that's pretty cool. If you have questions, I'll be here after school. Okay, we've got 18. We'll go to 19, and we'll go to something else. I want to take us out of here. I want to take us to the Horsehead, as promised. Donald Kunzer, was that you that asked for the Horsehead? Here we go. Well, first things first, let me rename this. This is Messier 33. And being 2.8 light years away, I'm sorry, 2.8 million light years away, we were able to see all kinds of features. Like, look at this. Let me zoom in for this one moment here. That'll bring us to 20. Look at all the detail we can see in this. And let me come here and turn on the unsharp mask. Ready to see more detail? Watch this. Okay, now we see more detail in there. I'm going to take this amount and pull it back just a little. Alright, so now we see that, and now you see some filamentary structure in here. It's really cool. Okay, so we'll save it again. My processing here does not affect the raw data, okay? It only affects the ping file that I saved just now. There you go. Neat. Very, very complex location in space. This galaxy. Alright. So now, let's go and do exactly as promised. We're going to go back to the Horsehead. And the Horsehead is back this way. And it will be a little further away, so we won't be as affected by the moon. There's the Orion Nebula and the Running Man. Running Man's beautiful. So if I still have the energy, we're going to look at that too. So off we go, Running Man, Horsehead rather, and then we'll go to the Running Man. That's the moon up there, by the way. Okay, we're getting our no guiding warning. grab a picture, get it going. Okay, and they're very faint. That's good. All right, so we are going to do a 10-second shot here, and bring this up. Yes. There we go. And I am also going to do a focusing run because I think we want to focus. All right, so we'll go back here. We are going to do a 1-second shot now. And do this. Now let's do a run of focusing here. Actually, that was helpful. It might actually have helped me better. All right, let's go see. Oh, not bad. Let's do another positive minor correction. Probably could have been better the other way. Yeah, it was. Okay. We'll give that a shot. We'll give that a shot. Okay. All right, so now, let's just do that again. Like I said, 3-second run, 3-second photo. Whoa, you see that? An infiltrator. I think it was a mouse. I think we had a mouse. All right, now we're gonna solve and resync. It's in the stream. We'll see him. Okay, so we're gonna just move a little bit. Here we are. And of course, it's a 3-second shot. So. All right, so now we'll come back in, and the horse head should be in here. So we'll just do a 10-second shot. See if I can glimpse it. It looks like it's right here. If it is, I'm going to move it over a little bit, more centered, depending where it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to put it right about here in the middle. All right, and then we'll start a nice photograph. Actually, I'm just going to go take it downward a little. I think that's going to be better. I think that was too far. Too far. All right, so let's take it back up a bit. Did you guys see that thing that came up over this on the camera? Our security camera in there? I think it was a mouse. They can kind of see the infrared. And when I go to play it back, I'll find him. I'll see what he was. He'll show up again. I'll do another 10-second shot here, just to get it in here. This star, it's probably right here. I know where that star is. That star is going to show a beautiful little reflection nebula in it. Oh, it's down here. Okay. Good. That's good. All right. So let's move it up. Okay. Setting up the horse head. Okay. Okay, the other way. Okay. This is good. All right. And now we'll come in and grab our image for guiding. Okay, don't like those selections. Try again. That's more like it. That's the one I wanted. Very good, very good. All right, here we go. That should work. Seems stabilized. All right, now we're gonna do a 45-second photo here. Michael Hedrick, I did not see it. Let me see what you said. What would the habitable zones of this galaxy possibly be, or any bad spots? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so when we were looking at Mesher 33, the other galaxy we just saw, understand that there's many outskirts in Mesher 33, so it's possible that the galaxy would have quite a number of habitable spots in it. In the spiral arms, you're going to have a lot of hot stars, and those hot stars probably would spell doom for any living creatures. All right, without doubt. So we have to be careful about that. All right, let me color correct. All right, now let's pull this black layer back and expose the horse head. Ready? There it is down there. We are in there. We do have it in here. See, because it's a larger format. Let me do this. There it is. Okay, so this is a beautiful, beautiful area, and again, if we pull this in, you'll see that it gets way overexposed. All right, we can pull this in. This is our black level. Technically, we can go right to near the peak, but notice the noise now. Okay, to get rid of that noise, we have to let more exposures come in to get rid of it. So I usually start right down here where it kind of looks okay, and little by little we move that to the left. So we have 2 shots taken so far at 45 seconds each. And of course, it'll know right where we are, so I'll set that as the target name, and I'll save that with annotations. So what that means is that when we look at that image, okay, we get this image, which will be on the server under the horsehead directory. Okay, you'll see what it is with some details and data, and that'll be for you. And this wall here is actually there. This is actually a edge to a molecular cloud. This is part of what's called the OMCC, the Orion Molecular Cloud Complex. And the Molecular Cloud Complex is a place where we have just lots and lots and lots of dark nebulae and the building blocks of life in here. Very, very cold inside the nebulae under any density. The horsehead is interesting because it has several stars in it. You can see 1, 2. Okay, there's one in the tip here, one in the main back here, right there, and then there's some down here. As we get more photos stacked, we'll be able to see those. So that's cool. Yeah, that's really pretty. And we can actually drop this down so we can actually see that. All right. Pretty, pretty. Now we usually like to expose this so that this looks more like solid black with some texturing in here, because there's dark areas and light areas within this, and we want to make those show up. Pookerson says, great stuff. Thanks for all your work. See you next time. Okay, Pookerson. Always welcome back. So come on back when you can. And look who's here. Lubo in China. Hey, Lubo. You asked that question before. I don't know if you asked this before the Horsehead. This is the Horsehead Nebula. So I'm not sure if you asked that question before. What we're looking at before was Messier 33, which was a galaxy in the constellation Triangulum. And we moved on to look here at this particular object just below Alnitok in Orion. If we go to our planetarium program, that's not it. This is the belt of stars in Orion. You can see the Horsehead is right there where the crosshairs are. That's where our crosshairs are. See that? And that's Orion. That's the Horsehead down here. Right there. Now, afterwards, we're going to come down and look at the Rosette. We're going to look at the Running Man Nebula down here later after the Horsehead, because the Running Man Nebula is a collection of colors that are visually stunning. I mean, in a way, unlike most any other nebula in the night sky. It's very bright. You can kind of see it with your naked eye. Definitely see it through binoculars. Fred Phonebone says, what's the scale of what we're looking at? Actually, that's a really good question. And to answer that, I got to take us back to our information about it, because its distance right now, and if it doesn't give the distance, I know the distance anyway. The distance is about 1,500 light years from us. So I wrote a program that allows me to just measure the size of this, and knowing its distance, I can tell you how big it is. But I can tell you from looking at this and knowing that the Orion Nebula is about 22 to 24 light years across, I can tell you that this one is probably about 6 light years across. Okay, and maybe a few more, maybe 7.5. But we're looking at about 7.5, say 7 light years right here. Okay, really interesting. All right, we have now 8 stacked here. And let's see if we can zoom in a little now. This is fun. Spock, zoom in on the alien. Aye, sir. All right. Now, this wall is red because of a star just out of the view down here. Right about, let me just put it here. Right about here. And it's called Sigma Orionis. And Sigma Orionis is actually a multi-star system. There's like 4 to 5 or 6 of them, all kind of orbiting in very complex orbits. And Sigma Orionis is hot and young, and it's ionizing all this hydrogen gas. And that makes this little tongue of dark nebula that's sticking out of the molecular cloud wall silhouetted, which gives us the Horsehead Nebula. Yeah. I can actually show you that. We come in here. So let's jump in here again. Let's center up on this guy. Okay. And Sigma Orionis is right here. Okay, it's kind of, it's actually out a little bit. Now, you see how the top surface here, Sigma Orionis is way out here then, to the right, not down here, my mistake. But you see how it's sort of light right here? That's because this is just dust, that's this dust out here, that's being illuminated by Sigma Orionis. So we look back here, you'll see that how that works. Here is Sigma Orionis. Okay, here is the Horsehead. And there is the illuminated top of the Horsehead right there. And that's lit by this star, which is actually relatively close to it. This one here. Okay, and it's multiple stars in that particular object. Okay. So there, that is really cool. And now, let's come back here. Let's figure out what we're going to do here. Oh, we've got 12 stacked. That's good. We'll do save on that. All right, we'll save it exactly as seen. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Okay. And so, we'll let that go a little longer. The scale is staggering, Kathy Messick says. Yeah, it is. It is. David Mason's with us. Hey, David. Yes, David. Yes, if I'm using a hydrogen alpha filter. David, over here on the lower right, you see it says UHCS. It's more than just hydrogen alpha. It's also bringing in doubly ionized oxygen, which is a teal blue color. A little bit of the sulfur line, which helps bring in detail in the hydrogen alpha domain, which is the red stuff we see. So the UHCS filter is sort of a workhorse for me. This one here called Radian is a more narrow band for hydrogen alpha and for the oxygen 3, which is the doubly ionized. But it's only 2 spikes. This here is more generally 3. Just filter reason, 3 spikes. Very, very effectively will subtract out moonlight and light pollution, of course, as well. David Mason is a FLIR inventor, not FLIR inventor, but he knows FLIR systems, with infrared systems, and he's an inventor in his own right. Has a company that makes crazy, cool, invented technology for television. He's been on Skinwalker Ranch, David, you don't have a wrench. I should give you a wrench. Holy cow! I'll remember to do that, David. Sorry. And he does some cool stuff, and we keep flirting with one another. I think David and I could solve Skinwalker Ranch if we work together. I think we could. There's some anomalies going on there, and I think the mistake that people are making is they're trying to do it from on site. I think what we would do to actually do it, David, is do it standoff, long distance, and therefore not trigger any shutdown of equipment on site. I think doing it from farther away with more sensitive technology is probably the answer. And it'll find out definitively what's going on there, because at beyond a certain range, a predator will not pay attention to prey, right? So since that's a natural tenet that we see on the nature as a template provided by the universe of development of life, it probably stands to reason that alien life would also be the same way. If you're far enough away, then you would actually not arouse attention and suspicion, and they might continue business as usual. That's my thought, David. Let me know what you think about that. Yes, Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, he's been on Skinwalker Ranch a few times. Yep. You can see the white area on here showing up. Well, I'm going to bring it out a little bit more now by pulling this in just a little. There you go. Look at, see, now it's showing up better. Eliza says, I love Skinwalker Ranch. Well, you've probably seen David Mason on there then. Hey, what can I say? You got cool friends, man. And C&D Boy is saying that he always sees me on Canadian television all the time. I don't know why that is. I mean, I am on A&E and History Channel on series. The proof is out there on history, right? And I also got signed on to season 6 of The Proof is Out There. So that's pretty cool. And so there's another show they're trying to push forward, and they would like me in it, and I gotta see what they're gonna do. But right now, I'm just having fun. All right, let's see who keeps bugging me. All right, let's see now. David, you're the cool friend. I'm not the cool friend. Cut it out. You listen to David talk. I mean, and we get on the phone, and David, right? Last call we had, it was like 3 hours. 3 hours. What do you talk about for 3 hours? We'll find a way, and trust me, we found all kinds of things to talk about. There's so much stuff out there to do that we could manage. And we talk about trying to do stuff from an actual technical perspective, like, well, how could we actually figure this out, David? You know, there's got to be a way to actually figure this out. Hey, we lost our guide star. Oh, it's back. Okay. You know? And so we'll come up with a way to do some things. That's kind of cool. All right, let's see what we got. All right, we're still good with the guiding. That's good. So you guys like the horse head here? Isn't that cool? I mean, we could zoom in, but remember, there's only so much you can zoom in on a picture before you start seeing pixels. And we get here, okay, and yeah, we got all these little stars and all. That's great, you know. And some of them are hot pixels. Actually, most of those little tiniest of white dots are hot pixels. These are the stars, like one here, one at the tip of the nose, one there, one back here. Okay. Oh, Fred said, thank you for pointing the scope at the horse. No, it's wonderful. It's fine. That's a great idea. You know, I say if you guys have something you want to see, you know, this is a request time. You know, this is when you get the time to request it. Let's do a little more manipulation here. Pull this down. Move this up a little bit. If any of you are watching from down in... yeah, we talk for usually 3 to 4 hours. He's right. And you know, we don't get bored. In fact, we don't want to leave. It's like kids being told to come up for dinner. Oh, Ma, you know. And we don't want to have to go, but we have to. Obviously, we have the real world to deal with sometimes. But David and I are going to work together on a number of projects, I'm sure. We got a bunch of things percolating in our crazy heads. If any of you are going to be down in Arkansas, by the way, in April 9th through the 12th, the Ozark Mountain UFO Conference is taking place then. It's a phenomenal conference, not just because I'm speaking there, no, but there you get a lot of cool speakers. You know, the MC Forrest, he's a fantastic guy. This year, they've asked me to be the keynote speaker, so I got a special presentation planned for everybody. It'll be kind of cool. So if you go to the Ozark Mountain UFO Conference site, you can see. You know, I'll also be in Roswell in July. I kind of went right through May and June. When in May, end of May, I'll be at Contact in the Desert for 4 or 5 days or 4 days. And I'm doing 3 lectures out there. And Contact in the Desert, you know, Gordon and Ron, the owners, are phenomenal people. They bring in up to 60 different speakers in this 4-day time frame, and it's really just a fun time. You see everybody you know, everybody. Eric Von Deniken was there before he passed away. You know, every year. Good guy, you know. So a lot going on out there. And you can come see me at our Sky Tour live stream table, which we'll have out there. And you'll get to meet Marianne, who will probably be there. Maybe Tara, if she can go. Of course, I have to go. And so after that, that's when in July I'll be in Roswell. And this is the first year I'll be speaking at the Roswell Museum, UFO Museum. They've never had me there before. I don't know why. I've asked, and they've said, well, we got everybody. Okay, fine. And I never bothered to argue. I don't argue. I don't care. You know, I don't have an ego to bruise. And it'll be fun because I will be spending time with a lot of people I know and doing a talk on, well, interstellar travel that is going to be and has been one of the favorite talks I've given around the country. It points out probably how they actually do get around. Let's color correct. Good. Okay, see, we're getting really close to the actual colors now. Look at that. So you see there's details now showing up in here. Details out here you can see. Absolutely beautiful. You can see this linear lines of detail. This is the hydrogen gas being, you know, it's in motion, moving in this particular direction. So you really see this brushed look to it. It's really pretty. Very, very pretty. And good vibes. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, Marianne, yeah, June 20th in Illinois. Forgot all about that. They on June 20th, they're taking me from Connecticut here out to the Bloomington, Illinois area to do a quick one-day conference. And I'll be there with David Hatcher Childress. I'll be there with, and Marianne might be there too. If she's, I don't know if you're speaking. I wish you were, because that's a perfect place for you. And then I have, let's see, John Dover and Stanley Milford, very good friends, the Navajo Rangers, and myself, and we'll be speaking there. There's a couple other people as well. It's just a one-day conference. So they're putting a lot into just one day. It's pretty cool. Kathy says, gosh, I need to retire so I can travel to all these conferences. Yeah, well, guess what? I'm not retired. Okay. But I do work for myself, and I'm making models for the Navy and for private individuals. So they tolerate that. Now, the only wrinkle I have this year is I've got jury duty on April 9th, but on April 8th, I'm flying out to Arkansas. So I'm not going to be able to do jury duty, and I've already deferred it to this time. But I didn't know that they were going to have me at the Ozark conference until like a month ago. So, you know. So I don't have a choice. I've got to go. I don't know what the fine is for not following through on your jury duty. I'm not sure I want to know. Not right now, but it's not intentional. I don't mind jury duty at all. Okay, 28. We're going to go to 30, and then we're going to go to the Running Man. We need 30. You know why? Because now look at the complexity here in this dark dust right here. See this? All that complexity right there. That needs longer exposures to be brought out, especially when we're using a value over there of 200 for the sensitivity. If I had it at 100, we wouldn't see a lot of this fainter detail, but we wouldn't also have to take as many exposures to get a noise-free image. So, okay, so let's see now. I want to thank you guys that donated. Sharon and Katie, that was a wonderful donation. And then the other 20 from Rhiannon. Thank you so much. That was very kind. Very good. If some of you want to support us on a regular basis, you can join our Patreon right here. And at different levels, you get different levels of finished images here. I also want to offer you merchandise. That's the other thing too. And we got to do that. We got to start offering mugs and things at different levels. So if you do that, then you should be able to do that. You should be able to have something in return. You know, when NPR does a telethon, they give you a mug for $300 donation. A mug. Come on. What's you know, $25 for a t-shirt. Okay, you know that you can see. But A mug for a $300 donation? Boy, why don't you give them a ice bucket, a towel, and a mug? You know, it's still not quite $300. But, you know, that's the telethons. That's what they do. You know, so I want to try and, you know, give you something that's worthwhile, you know. But we're also not asking for $300. Okay, now when I push it like this, you'll see it. You can see some more detail in this dark dust here. See that? That's all good. And we can bring that out in final processing of the image. Okay. Okay, 32 images, more than enough. We're going to say save now. And we're going to say save directly as scene. Save exactly as scene. And now, folks, you can say goodnight to the horsehead for tonight. And we're going to move on to the next object, which I think is pretty cool. Hope you're enjoying this. I don't get any feedback other than the chat, so I don't know. Okay, Bob. Your knee was injured. Yeah. Bob, I actually did a case in Canada. A video analysis case for the Canadian courts. There was an incident in a prison that was all videotaped, and they were asking me to figure out a whole bunch of timeline events, like when did this happen, who did this, who did that. That's actually that's an unbelievable thing to have to deal with. Okay, we're gonna come down here now. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. The telescope will move just a little bit. There it is. And now we're there. There's our alarm. Yeah, that's actually, see, here's what makes it difficult when you're in an area like this. This is the trapezium, and this is the Orion Nebula we're looking at in our guider. We're not there. That's actually down below here, right? Hey, man, thank you. Thank you, Norse Ancestry. Nice job. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. It's all helpful. So helpful. You know, you guys are amazing. Okay, this is just something else. There it is. Okay, I'm going to take this and center it in our view. It should come down to here. Yeah. All right. All right, so now I'm going to take a 10-second shot. I may move this because where the object actually is probably not where I want it to be. Hey, look, this is astronomy. You know, we go to the general spot and then we kind of specify a location we're looking at. Oh, yes. Not quite where we want to be, but you're going to like this shot. Oh, you're going to really like this. This is the thing we're going to look at. Okay, let's go back to 1 second. I'm going to move all this up a little bit. Up and over. The other over. Okay, you can see this little hump right here. That's cool. I want to preserve this. All right. Okay. This is one of the brighter blue nebulae that are in the night sky, and it's really, really beautiful. Okay, let's see if we can get a guide star out of this that won't be the trapezium. Yeah, it's using one, but I don't want to use that. I'm going to pick a different one. Do a manual selection. Maybe this guy. Let's try that. Okay, it's a little bit, that's what we want right there. We want that nice peak. And each second and a half we get a new image to guide on. Okay. So it centers up, And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a 25-second shot. All right, and this 25-second shot, we're going to stack it as well. And we're going to do it in our deep sky mode. Norwich Ancestry, thank you very much. Yaya Astronomo. That's Norwegian for I'm an astronomer. And I'll back this out. Look at that beautiful blue. Okay, and yeah, we lost the center of the star a little bit. So I am going to clear this, let it recenter, and we'll do it again because I want to start off with a good start off here. Marianne Robb, you should not be given that kind of stuff. Kate says, good night. Bedtime for me. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kate, for coming along and hanging with us. Hope you have a good evening. Close your eyes and enter the dream time as the Aboriginal people do, the Indigenous Australians. And Marianne likes the Running Man. Yes, this is a beautiful image. Now, look how rough it looks. But you know what? It's going to get better. It always does. And basically what we do to help that is we drop this down, okay? And by dropping this down, it allows us to get rid of some of the noise, okay? Now, yes, it's not as bright, but what we do to counteract is we pull this out a little bit. And now we have that softer nebula. And so as we get more stacked, we have 3 right now. There they are right there. See down there? 3. Right here. We have 3 images stacked. So we make an image sandwich. And the more we stack, the less noise is involved. And what we do is we move this in. As we move this in, we get more access to more data, but we get more noise. So if I push it way in, okay, well, you'll see. Pull it way in. There's a lot of data there. And this cloud's going to come out really pretty. But to get to that point, we're going to need to keep doing more of these exposures and stacks. Now here's something. I have to say, when you talk about this guy right here, right? This I'll do it this way, okay? You see this blue color here, and you see this magenta color, but that's hydrogen. That's hydrogen gas that's glowing in the same way I've told you. It's ionized hydrogen. So why is this magenta? When you have this blue here, this blue is reflection nebula. This is all dust in here with hydrogen, okay? The hydrogen is inside the dust. So what happens is we're looking at something called complementary colors. When you have a red thing inside of a blue thing, in terms of light, the blue thing affects the color of the red you see, and the red light is shifted kind of toward the blue, making it look magenta. It has an additional magenta hue thrown in because you're seeing blue in here as well. And it adds, okay, it's a complementary, it adds here, and it's pretty cool. You know? Kevin O'Neill, hey, welcome. He says, hi, Mark. Great Jupiter fun last evening. Yeah, the Jupiter was great. We had that beautiful image of Jupiter, and you could see the shadow of Io, the closest moon, on the surface of the cloud tops. And then you saw Io off to the side in the end. It was in front of Jupiter the whole time. We actually managed to show it after that. It's pretty cool. All right, let's do this a little bit further back. There we go. Look how quick we got to a really good image. All right, now I think, I haven't done a focus on this, and I probably should. C&D boy Bob says, first time I saw Mark was on TV. Huh, that's pretty cool. That's neat. Well, I mean, I think it's really important that people get to see some neat things on TV, and they get to see some honest analysis of stuff. Because you know what? It can't be bought. and people have tried. But I can't be bought. If it's not there, I'm not going to say it is. Otto, what's going on? That's Autopilot. Otto, are you really a pilot, or is that just a play on words? Okay, we got 12 images right now. Let's pull this mid-range in to kind of brighten it up. Ah, look. Now it's starting to look pretty. Look at that, guys. Move this in a slight bit. Look at that. Okay. That's an NGC 1977. That's the Running Man. I'm going to save it. Save exactly the scene. As you can tell, the Running Man is bigger than this image. It's out here as well. But this telescope has a higher focal length, meaning that it has a more magnified view. And that's something that we wanted. It's the reason we can see planets the way we do. It's a play on words. I just fly RC planes. I should probably do a stream showing you all my RC planes. Radio control aircraft are fun. That's how I started. I started flying RC planes at age 12. Okay, 12. And I learned from a really cool guy named Peter Tranchita. Man, that guy was fantastic. And he let me fly his plane. And then I flew a plane that I acquired, and it wasn't a good looking plane. It was called an S-Ray, okay, flat bottom wing. It just floated like didn't want to land, And I flew it for years, and then I graduated to more and more planes. And the last plane I flew was an RV-8, okay. I think that was a Hangar 9, I think. And my favorite plane of all time is, along with the RV-8 and a few others, is hanging up out in the shipping area there. And that plane was a Piper Pawnee, an agricultural sprayer plane. Now, it didn't have sprayers on it, didn't want them. But the nice thing about the Pawnee is when it came in vertical and you lowered the flaps, you could go horizontal and then land almost to a complete stop in about 30 feet. It was a plane that just slowed right down, and I just loved flying that plane. Had a nice big 4-stroke engine on it, and it really, you start up, it's like blah, 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 blah. I loved that. It was great. And then I started flying drones. In fact, I built the first drone ever in the state of Connecticut. It put me on the front page of a magazine, actually, because I was interested in remote control. I was interested in remote cameras. So, this is pretty. So I ended up building this drone, and a metal shop right up the street in an industrial park nearby said, "Hey, we'll weld it up in lightweight aluminum for you," and they did. They made me a frame out of lightweight aluminum. It was the coolest thing in the world. And so we flew it with an internet-based Ardu pilot, it's called. And I had a Lawrence Livermore scientist here for 12 days. helping us work out the proportional loops. The PID loops are called, PID loops. It's actually on his land that our other telescope is sitting out in the Sonoran Desert. So it's pretty cool. That was really, really fun. But we did everything with that thing. As we were flying it and testing it out, it became a buzzsaw tumbleweed. I mean, it had 14-inch props on it. It had 4 of them. Okay, it was a large quadcopter, and it became a buzzsaw tumbleweed. And that thing would go into the ground, and it just wouldn't stop. It was just going, and coming right towards you, rolling and ripping up the ground as it came. And we were hiding behind plywood structures to keep safe. But that's called the bleeding edge, right? Of technology. It's on the bleeding edge. You have to work out those problems. We never got that one to fly perfect. And I actually brought in a professional pilot to try and fly it. And he did it for nothing because he wanted to try it. And it was squirrely, but he got it up in the air and was able to fly it around. And what happens is these PID loops I was telling you, if it does this, you want it to counteract. Okay? But if you do it too much, it'll overcompensate, and then it'll try to correct that one and overcompensate further, and then try to correct that one and overcompensate further. So it'll go and then flip over, and then become a buzzsaw tumbleweed. So it's very sensitive. We're talking about like 0.01 modifications, and there's just so many times you can fly in those batteries and crash it before you got to get it fixed, and so. We didn't give up, but we just decided to put it on the shelf for a bit. It's hanging in my visual effects shop right now from the ceiling. Really cool stuff. Yeah, exactly. And there's cosmic races, and now micro drones follow the Olympic skiers, which is really cool. And what happened was other companies came out. GAUI was one of them, GAUI. And the GAUI platform was one of the first. Unbelievable. And it was a lot of fun. But the GAUI platform was somewhat unstable. But we used the GAUI platform, the GAUI quadcopter, to do a National Geographic special where we actually made a drone and we covered it with lights. And I put a giant ring around it. And this ring of lights around the perimeter of the 4 quadcopter propellers were very bright, and they were blue, and had blue ones in the center and white ones on the outside. And we flew it over a busy mall with National Geographic crews on the ground without letting on who they were. And we flew it up in the sky during a snowstorm. It looked like a UFO flying over the mall, a totally unknown aircraft. And people were going, "Oh, what's that? Look at that thing." And the National Geographic crew was quietly filming them. And then after we did it, after people assembled, there was a ton of people just looking up in the sky at this point, video and all that. We landed it in the parking lot right next to them, and they went, "Whoa, what is this?" And then the crew went over to say, "Well, you participated in a social experiment. You saw something you didn't understand. What did you think it was?" Microphone in the face. "Well, I thought it was an alien craft. It looked like it. How big did you think it was?" "I thought it was the size of a football field. I thought it was 10 feet across." It was 3 feet across. So what happened was people all had different views, which is very important because 10 different people see 10 different things when they're looking at the same event. And that's a very important tenet, and we showcased that. We proved it. And I wasn't trying to fool people, because the whole point was to expose that technology sufficiently advanced will be misconstrued as potentially alien, right? It's the same with that old saying, any sufficiently advanced technology will be considered magic by people. And that's true too, But so it was really cool doing that. And we did that for like one night in February. It was extremely cold. It was 22 degrees. And I didn't fly it. I had a professional pilot fly it because I didn't want to have it go out of control and have it crash onto people's heads. So he flew it, and he had the legal ability to fly it at the time. Now almost anyone flies these things. However, I will say that in looking back on it, it was one of the most effective episodes or documentary to showcase how technology can be misconstrued, because they literally saw it in the sky. It was unearthly looking. It really was. It was like a sphere of blue and white surrounding this kind of dark core, which was the quadcopter, but you couldn't see it because it was surrounded by light. And the reflections off the snow, oh my gosh, it was spectacular. And it just was incredible. And when we landed it, people were just blown away. I thought it was as big as a football field. It's like 3 feet across or whatever. Yeah, and so we pointed that out. It was a really interesting, really cool thing. And as Autopilot says, and with the gyros now, they're foolproof. That's right. We had to manufacture the gyro loops to make it stabilize at the time because they didn't exist yet. Then DJI came out with it. In the Gaui didn't have stabilized loops. We had to tune it, and then we had to fly it. And even then, you really had to fly it. If you let go of the controls, it's gonna crash. Just like an RC plane. So. And like with an RC plane, you got wings, right? And that's kind of easy to understand the orientation. With a drone, you don't know which way it's facing unless you have lights that say that. So we put red lights on one side and green lights on the other, and drone manufacturers follow that. They actually did that too, which is cool. So we use like navigation lights, what's interesting is that with an RC plane, when it's heading away from you, then you move the stick to the right, you go right. You move the stick to the left, you go left. But if it's coming towards you, then you actually look at whichever wing is low. If you want it to level, you dip the stick toward that low wing, and then it'll level it out. So it's the opposite, and you're constantly doing that when you're flying planes. If it goes around in a loop and around like this, or up and over, you're constantly working that out. And so what you end up doing is you end up literally becoming effectively part of the plane. But you haven't lived until you fly a plane as if you're sitting in it, and you can't get hurt. I mean, that is just the coolest thing. It makes you nauseous if you're not used to that FPV headsets, but oh man, I mean, there's real risk that you can damage some equipment that you made, okay? But you fly down, you get close to the ground, you skim that ground. Oh, I was skimming a lake with it, and it's like, wow, I'm actually flying over a lake. I mean, it really felt viscerally like you were doing it, even though I was sitting in a lawn chair on the shore. So it's just a beautiful way to fly and to experience what birds must feel, But birds don't run out of gas, and unfortunately the RC planes do. and drones run out of battery power. One more drone story, and then we'll close up. We're doing Alien Invasion Hudson Valley for Discovery Plus, and we were in the Hudson Valley in New York, across the border here in Connecticut, doing a study. Now I had my infrared drone, one that I kludged a infrared system, what's called a Tau-2, T-A-U, Tau-2 FLIR core on, and I was able to remote control it and gyro stabilize it and all that. And I tested it here. It worked great. I had 2 batteries, and you could fly that thing for about 12 to 13 minutes on a charge. Middle of the winter, 10 degrees. I was flying it for 12 long, freezing minutes. The worst part is coming back down when it's near you. The wind hits you. It's like, ooh, the final freeze. Well, anyway, this is going to be beautiful now. The final thing was that we get out on this mound that was in an area where a supposed unidentified object had landed. And I was going to take the drone up to see if I could see anything in the infrared spectrum that might showcase any potential. So I put the battery in, started it up, perfectly fine. Battery shows 100%. It goes up 30 feet. And all of a sudden, on the screen, I see the battery indicator going 90, 80, 60, 40, 10, landing, and it just came right down. Now, the temperature was 22 degrees, not 10 degrees. I tested it in 10 degrees. So I'm like, oh, I can't believe that. It's kind of embarrassing. And the producer said, hey, Mark, what happened? And I said, I charged both batteries, I thought, but maybe I didn't, I guess. Let me put another battery in. Put a second battery in. 100%. Flew, hovered it now, 5 feet off the ground. Stayed there for about a minute. Okay. Rock solid. 99%. Okay. Oh, great. Flew up to 30 feet. As soon as it hit 30 feet, bam! 98, 90, 70, 60, 40, 30, 10, landing. And it did it again. So that's more than a coincidence when that type of thing happened. Eliza says, I grew up in Hudson Valley, so you kind of know about the strangeness there. So, we couldn't fly the infrared drone on this mound, which was a very odd mound on a farmer's land where he said a UFO had landed. So the next night, we're at a lake, all right, in New York State, a lake where there was some really interesting goings on, a lake called Nuclear Lake, actually. And I think that has to do with the Indian Point nuclear power plant. I might be wrong about that. Well, anyway, so we're flying over the. I take out the drone, and I hadn't charged the batteries. And I thought, oh no, these batteries are both dead for some reason. I put it in the drone, 100%. I flew it up, went up to 30 feet cautiously, sat there rock solid, and it went to full 12 to 13 minutes. I was like, what's going on here? And as Eliza says, yeah, high strangeness, very high strangeness. Okay, and that's at a lake. Now at that mound, it seemed like something was bringing the drone down. Okay, and after I flew and did this run with the infrared drone over this lake, I did it a second time with the second battery. This one went 14 minutes because I wasn't powering up and down. I was actually just hovering and kind of moving slowly over the lake. 14 minutes, no problem. Acting exactly as I'm used to it doing. But on that mound in Hudson Valley, just like literally 35 or 45 minutes away, no go. Still to this day, do not know what happened. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Just crazy stuff. So I don't know. Look at that. That's beautiful. Wow. So there's a Running Man there. Can you see the Running Man running here? Head, arms, legs, you know. The Running Man. Really phenomenal. Yep. I know, I go from one thing to another, don't I? Lori, how are you? Lori at LDP, nice to see you. Yep. Okay, so try wingsuit flying in VR, lots of fun. Actually, you know what I want to do? I'm going to actually buy a racing drone and try and zip around my yard with it. You know, I mean, you'll come back sweating and profusely and just huffing and puffing, saying, "Wow, that was crazy." You know, especially if the video is good. And right now, that's kind of foolproof. Okay, this will be the last save of this guy. Yeah, we should still have some time. So let's see if we can do one more fun one. I know people want to see the Orion Nebula probably, but we've done that a lot. But I'll do it if you want it. I want to actually see if we can get another object that's very fascinating. Yeah, the Seagull Nebula I showed you. Thor's helmet over there. And there's one more that's over here that's interesting. It's up here. It's very high. That makes it a good candidate. 65 degrees up. Alright. And we're going to go over here. It's called the Christmas Tree Cluster. And we'll go there now. The Christmas Tree Cluster is a fascinating location. Okay, telescope is probably there. There it is. Okay, it's gonna lock on. And I think we have some, I think the focus is pretty good. I don't have to refocus. And what I want to do is actually, I want to find exactly where we are. Yes, I know, Christmas Tree Cluster. But I want to go to a specific location. And it's actually this location right here. Now we're looking at these stars here. Let me first do this. Let's go here and look at our field of view indicator. Right, so you notice it's upside down, right? So the top of the screen is going to be this nebulae. The bottom of the screen is going to be, well, the star should be kind of in the middle, and that's that star right there. So well, I think what we're going to do, let me watch again. All right, well, I'm going to have to just take a quick shot to figure that out. 15 seconds. And I'll know which way to go. It looks like it's over this way, but it's probably going to be up here, right there. The thing I'm looking for. Okay, let's do this. Alright. There's two. Alright, let's identify exactly where we are. Yeah, right. That's the star I wanted. 31978. We're gonna take that star and it's interesting. Why is it not listed? Oh, it is. It's 15 Montecero. Sorry. We'll center it up. Okay. And of course, we're doing a 15-second exposure, so I'll go to 1. Okay. And if we go back here again, that's 15 mon, and we want to look, are we down the lower left, or are we down here? Okay. Let's sync that up like that. And now, let me just back out a little bit. Get this. Yeah, there we go. That should be pretty. So what I'm going to do, if it's down here like I think, I'm going to move this up a little bit here. I'll take the chance that I'm not incorrect. All right. All right, let's try that. And we'll do now a 20-second shot. It'll be like a test shot. It won't be guiding. It's just to quickly grab this photo and see what we're looking at. JSEO, what's going on? I just did a show on Trump's discussion of UFO stuff. Will he talk about it in the State of the Union? I'm not sure. Probably not. It's not. It shouldn't. It's nowhere near as important as what's going on out in the world. All right. Let's see if we got this. Color correct you. Let's see if we can grab this. Here's the other blue part of the nebula. Alright, let's see where that is. That's the other blue part of the nebula. Okay, good. So that's correct. So we want to be literally right down around here, I think. Let's look at that again. Okay, good. And so we want this to go this way. I'm going to pop us back into this. I have a specific object I want you to see. That's what this is. Okay. So we're going to go here. Like that. Then here. That should be doing it. Okay, we're going to try that. Okay, one more 20-second shot here. Alright, and that's going to bring us more toward here. Well, it says that's where we're going, right there. Yeah, this will probably be better. Let's just center on this. Okay, we're starting to see some of the blue there. That's good. All right, and all right, so good. Here we go. Excuse me. We're gonna get another image, and we'll get our stars. Good, perfect star. Okay, that'll be a solid guide, I'm sure. Okay, now we're gonna do a 50-second shot. And we're going to see all the complexity in here, along with dark nebula and stuff in here. This is very cool. It's the area called the Christmas tree cluster, which is this cluster. It extends well out beyond the screen. Okay. And now we will come out of our low light mode and go into our deep sky stack mode. Excellent. Yeah, very nice. This is going to be a nice shot, I think. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay. That is going to work. So I'm going to do this. Right, this is going to be a stunning image. Let me color correct it. Okay, gets the red. There's a lot of red in here. So let's move this over. Yes, okay, this is a beautiful region. Now, just like with the Running Man, this is an area where, okay, we have this nebula here called the Phosphor Nebula. This is dark dust mixed with hydrogen gas, and what is going on here is that this dark dust with the hydrogen inside is actually being made to glow by these hot stars in this cluster. And then in the other cases where there's just lower density of hydrogen and dust, lower density of hydrogen, it doesn't glow red, it glows blue. And that's because this is emission nebula. This is reflection nebula. So in other words, the dust particles are effectively reflecting the blue component of the light, and in the red parts, it's actually emitting light. When the hydrogen electron leaves the atom and then comes back, it leaves gaining energy. When it comes back, it gives that energy up in the form of a reddish light. But there's also dust in here, so it's sort of a strange mix. And you'll notice that the Phosphor Nebula, like the Running Man, has a kind of a magenta-y look to it as well, because it's mixed all together. But this is a beautiful way to see all this. Okay, so let's increase our contrast by bringing this in. Look at that. Isn't this amazing that that's actually out there? You can see that out there. Yep. Oh, JSO, I see you just asked a question now. You said, what show? I mentioned a couple. I'm sorry. I don't remember which show I was talking about. I apologize. Sorry about that. They're all out there. I mean, Discovery Plus, it's on Alien Invasion Hudson Valley. That's on demand, so you can look at that anytime. I don't think it's on Netflix. I don't think it's on Netflix. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, the Christmas tree cluster is right there. Okay. I'll save it with annotations once I set the target name. There we go. Excellent. See all the subtle detail in here? This is dust being silhouetted by the blue glow. The blue is behind, okay, and you're seeing the red dust and the hydrogen emission that's being seen through it in silhouette. See it? This is cool. That's what I want you to see. Let's do the same thing. Let's take that down and allow you to see the full size. Wow. Beautiful region. It really is. Beautiful plumage. It's bloody demise to be pushing up daisies. Oh, it's just pining for the fjords. Pining for the fjords? Who remembers the parrot sketch in Monty Python? All right, JSO. Sorry, I didn't know what you were talking, which show you were talking about. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just gonna pull the noise down a little bit by moving this mid-level down. Okay, and drop the contrast a little higher. Actually, wrong way. I want to go the other way. There we go. Okay, so now this is what the current number of stacked images, which is 7 right here. You see that 7. It does for us. It's just a flesh wound. Eliza knows all about Monty Python. That's Holy Grail. Just but a flesh wound. It's an ex-parrot. John Cleese. Fantastic. You know what's interesting, Eliza and everybody? I sent them a message saying to come in, and that's Aurelio Maraca from the Danbury Library. He's Eric Idle's friend. And Eric Idle said that he thought Skytour Livestream was a cool stream. So I thought that was pretty cool. Aurelio told me that. So I was like, wow, cool. I never thought I'd get a Python to comment on this. did. This is an ex-parrot. The only reason, oh no, if I didn't nail him to the perch, he would just like bustle up to them bars and boom, he'd be gone. You only, we say, this parrot wouldn't boom if you put 4,000 volts through it. They tried to convince him to give him some kind of budgie or whatever it was. Oh yeah, see, Uber Goo, hey man, how you doing? See, I knew I'd drag you out of the darkness there. Ah, look at that. Yeah. What? European or South African? What? I don't know that. Ah! Speed of the Swallow. If you haven't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail. What is your favorite color? Red. No, blue. Ah! Ask me your questions, Bridge Kipper. I'm not afraid. Oh, look at that, guys. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look, I knew it was worth setting up so you could see it in all its glory. Look at that. Beautiful. We're going to save along the way here. That's 10 frames. And this is available at skytourlive.org from our I Want Cool Pictures section. That's right, the rabbit. Oh, it's just a rabbit. It's just a small rabbit. No, Cool just got these big fangs. Fatang, you know, bite you. Nonsense. And of course, he's murdered by the rabbit. Run away, run away. Kathy Messick, yeah, look at the detail in here. Look at this. Now, just guys, so you understand, this little feature right here, okay? This little feature right here. This is light years long, okay? Now, let's get a perspective here. Let me bring this up a minute. We'll do it this way. Okay. It shows... in here it shows a different distance of about 1,200 light years, but it's more like 1,700, I believe. And so at 1,700 light years, this object, this size in the sky, and I can get what's called a plate scale, figure out just how big a size this thing encompasses. We can, you know, I plug that into my program, and that comes out to be several light years long, just that one little piece. Okay. Okay, we're not talking 20 light years. 20 light years is maybe from this upper corner outside the view. Actually, I'll do it from here. Like over here in this menu to about my head right here would be about 24 light years in the scale of this sensor. So what I'll do is I will calculate the exact size for you. See now how big this is. And what we do is we bring up these different, reticles, okay? And these reticles will tell us exactly what we need to know. And the one we probably want is here somewhere. Okay, that's beautiful. Notice this. Look at this beautiful brush, almost like brushed detail on that star. That is something else. I'm going to overprocess over here just so we can see what else is hiding in there. Watch this. Look at that. Now you see the Fox-Fur Nebula, and that's all its detail with this convoluted detail in there. That's hiding in there now. That's there now. This area here, these strands, that's all in there. I could actually take this and move it down and kind of mess with this a little bit like this to show you that detail. But I don't want to over process, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that back to that. And I can recreate that exactly what you just saw by bringing this way up here. Okay, see? But we don't want to do that. All right, we got 14 images here stacked. And we're again at 200 gain over there. Unbelievable. This is really pretty. An unbelievable night. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I like showing you guys things and telling you all about them. Hello, I'd like to buy an argument, please. What? Oh, do you want the full course or just one the course of 10? What was it? Oh, just one, please. Okay. You can go down to Mr. DeBakey, but he's a little bit conciliatory. And I forget which room he goes into. And says, "Hi, I'm here for an argument." And John Cleese says, "Is this the right room for an argument?" He says, and John Cleese says, "Well, I told you once." "No, you didn't." "Yes, I did." "No, you didn't." "Yes, I did." "I'm sorry, is this the full course or just the one?" "Oh, just the one, thank you." "Anyway, you most certainly did." "No, I did not." "That's not an argument. That's the automatic gainsaying of what the other person is saying." "Oh, that's not an argument." "Yes, it is." "Ding. Okay. Good morning." What? That was never 5 minutes. "Good morning." And then what's he say? Oh, yes. He goes, "Well, I'm telling you, I can't argue with you unless you've paid." And then he pays again, and he says, "Anyway, I most certainly did." He says, "I told you I'm not allowed to argue with you unless you've paid." He says, "Aha!" Or he says, "I just paid you." "No, you didn't." "Yes, I did." "No, you didn't." "Yes, you did." He goes, and he goes, "What's it?" He says, "Aha! Got you. If I haven't paid, why are you arguing?" And John Cleese says, "I could be arguing in my spare time." He says, "Oh, I've had enough. I've had quite enough of this." And he goes, "No, you haven't." And he says, "Oh, shut up." And he walks out. Look how pretty. Then he moves into the other door to complain. And that's the getting hit in the head lessons door. He gets hit in the head. "No, it's wah. Stop hitting me." "What? Stop hitting me." "Yes, I know. It's a black hole. I gotta stop." All right, let's redock this. Right there. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now we're gonna do some contrasty things here to pull out some extra detail. Ooh, wow. Doesn't that look like just a painting, a surreal painting? Now when we actually process these things, what we do is we actually remove, I'll do this again now. We actually remove the stars and you just have the soft flowing nebulae, and we process the nebula before we actually pull in stars. This way we get a beautiful image without the stars, process the image, and then we pull the stars back in. And that's kind of a staple of what I do for processing. This is neat. This really is laureate LD pieces. Yeah, very beautiful. It is. Yeah, remember I told you how this is light years long? Okay, well, this whole thing is many more light years long. So we have something here that might be about maybe from corner to corner, probably 14 light years. Okay, and a 14 light year size, it means it takes light 14 years to go this far from here to here. And remember, this is 3 dimensions. This is a 3-dimensional area. So this is like a cavity in the stars with some overlying material. These stars can be closer to us or farther from us. But let's say 14 light years from here to here. we look at the Pleiades and we see around the Pleiades, we see the yellow clouds, or I'm sorry, the blue clouds that are made the same way as this is. It's reflection nebulae that are reflecting back the light of the blue component of the light from the stars. And we see that. Now, what's interesting about that is that we here on Earth have been looking at the Pleiades and saying, oh, look, the Pleiades are surrounded by dust. And at first, in the beginning, we thought the Pleiades were made in the dust, and that's what that was. Turns out they're not. The Pleiades are going this way, and the dust is going this way. They're actually just crossing through each other. And so the dust is not part of the Pleiades. What we've discovered, however, is that we might be part of the dust around the Pleiades, all right, and that we might be caught in the same massive tendril, okay, of dark dust that the Pleiades are in. So that means that everything we've been looking at in the universe, we've been looking at through dark dust. So all of the distances we calculate are slightly off, and all of our understanding of the universe is slightly off because we haven't taken into account the dark dust that we're looking through. Now that's ongoing research, so if I find out anything on it, I'll let you know. That's pretty cool, huh? Okay, how many do we have? 21. Okay, good. Well, we're doing, we're actually, we've done 18 minutes and 20 seconds total exposure on this object right now. And, you know, if we took and did a 20-minute exposure and stacked 50 20-minute exposures, okay, that's 1,000 minutes, okay? And so we haven't done 1,000 minutes with people watching, because that's crazy. So what you do is you do it over time and over a long period of time. And if you notice, where the telescope's looking. That's why this is looking so beautiful. We're looking through less air. Okay, straight up is the cleanest, clearest sky. Because as you get farther away from the zenith, you start to see things like, you know, haze in the atmosphere. This is the best photo we will ever take of this object because of this factor. Okay, if you look at the telescope, you can see that it's just off center, facing off center. We come back here, we can see the zenith. All right, if I back out, all right, you'll see now where we are. All right, that's the zenith is actually right here. So we're actually at, what is it, 60? We're over 60 degrees up right now. Looking at this. Yeah, right there. So we are literally 62 degrees looking up. Okay, it's not 90, but it's actually pretty good. If you notice, you can see detail in here now that was elusive to us before. But with this zenith view, almost zenith view, it looks beautiful. We would never have seen these guys. This is great. Wow, really fantastic. Pull this one over. So here you can see I'm doing a very coarse reduction of the noise. You can see how that works, right? And then on the opposite side, you know, this is over processed. We look at it in a negative, okay, and that's actually helpful as well. When we look at things in a negative, okay. So there's the negative view, and what we would do typically in astronomy is we might actually just look at the black and white negative view, right? You can see in this view you'll get more details. You'll see more detail than you can see in the regular photograph, with the stars being black and the background being white. So that's the inverted view. In astronomy, when I was getting my degree in astronomy, this is the kind of view we would view a lot of the times for looking at our stars and nebulae that we're looking at. You know, it's not all pretty and glamorous like this. Okay, and this is, we would use black and white imagery as well. But in the old days, they never knew what this was and what color it was. It was only with the advent of color emulsions on films that they realized, wow, that stuff is blue and this stuff is red, man. You know, so it's pretty cool how that all worked. So let's now just color correct this one more time. It's going to be very close to what we've got. That's nice. Wow. And we'll take this, move it down just a little. See, we're getting closer now to our peak because we're getting a lot of data here. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty. Look at that. I know. You're shaking your head. All right, man, I see clouds already. I'm done with that. But in some ways, it's prettier than the Orion Nebula because of what we're seeing and the way it's working. Foxfur Nebula is beautiful. These filaments and tendrils are gorgeous. You see these? They're sitting over these, on top of these. So you've got layering going on out there. Remember, the universe is in 3D. And this is what's neat about it. It's really neat. Donald says, Mark, could you open a night in the future just on Orion? Or could you spend a night in the future just on Orion? Especially the parts of the dagger beside the Great Nebula. Yes, as a matter of fact, what we're looking at here and over in Orion is part of the Orion molecular cloud complex. You know? And Donald, just to start that off, we're going to go to one more item before closing for the night. And I was going to make this the last item, but you know what? I'm not. I'm going to go one more. So we'll hit save on this. Okay. I'm going to show you the most odd object in all of Orion. Alright, so this is now I'm going to take one more object here. Let me redock this. There we go, right there. Okay, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Jeez, that's beautiful. Alright, we'll save it here. Save it exactly as seen. Remember to like and subscribe, guys, if you can. This is really phenomenal. And like I said, any donations you can give us to go just to doing a better job of showing you these types of things. I take nothing for what I do. Okay. Alright, so we got those saved. Those are in there. And now we're going to go to that one more object that we're going to look at. This one we just took will be up on skytourlive.org in just a few seconds. Okay, let's pump that up. Got to pump you up. Everybody get down. We got to pump you up. Look out. It's a big star. Get out of the way of the star. Alright. And now we're going to come over here and back up over here to Orion once more. Yes, hold on. That's Betelgeuse and Bellatrix. And I'm going to take us to this one other location down below here. There's so much in here. There's so much stuff in here. Man, stop it. It won't let go. Okay, we're going to go here. This is called the 13th Pearl. It's also known as the Rubber Stamp Nebula. And it's going to give you a hint of what's going on up in the night sky in Orion. There we go. And we're there. And is it that guy? Let me just do a 3-second shot. See if we're... That might... Maybe that's it. I'm not sure. Let's refine this. Hey JSCO, thanks man. Thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna do 5 seconds. Thank you, brother. That's very kind. All right. And let's see. Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna move down just a little bit more. There it is. It was just right out of view there. Okay. That's the most interesting object in all of Orion. Okay. And it's perfect right there. So what we're gonna do now is get a guide star and do a deep photograph of it for just a few minutes. I think you're gonna like this thing. Uh-oh, we need to make sure we can see a star in here. Yes, we can. Okay, good. Now we grab a star, which will probably be that one. And it is good. Okay. Alright. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a 35-second photo of this object. And you're going to see something amazing. Okay. And we're here because Donald Kunzer asked, I believe, for us to do this. Robert Waters, yeah, that's right. European or African? What? I don't know that. Ah! Okay, so we should be okay to start stacking here. Let me remove our low light mode and go into deep sky mode. And now you'll see this object. Okay, that's the actual object, guys. That's what it really looks like. Okay, now these are all off, so I'm gonna move them. Move this down. Now the reason it looks kind of bright and kind of weirdly modeled in here is because we are in the middle of just a massive amount of dust. This is all dust in here. Very interesting. Okay, and now we're going to zoom in on that because it very quickly is going to become a better object to view. Okay, so we come over here. Okay. Now, in looking at this thing, one of the things that we're looking at when we stare at this is we see obviously this black object. It's also known as the keyhole. Now, we talked about many times that we look at black dust in space and how it's up front blocking what's behind it. Okay, you could be forgiven for thinking that's exactly what we're looking at because that is generally what happens, but not here. Okay. In this particular case, this object right there, right, that black weird object is actually a true hole in the nebula. It's a void, it's an opening, like a true keyhole. And so this shape is actually there. And so this star is illuminating the dust in this area, but there's nothing to illuminate there because there is nothing there in this particular case. So in this particular case, and it's one of the very few, we find that there's an object that is actually truly a void, which is something that hasn't happened much. You know, so that's pretty cool. Let's if we move this in, we can start to see some of the other dust around it. So if I just back out, so you can see how the subtle views here of this subtle dust is in here. All part of the Orion Molecular Cloud Complex. And this is NGC. You get the NGC number. 1999, of course. Duh. Okay. Alright, this is going to be the rubber stamp nebula. NGC 1999. So all these things are actually really here. These things are not artifacts of the photo. These are actually details of this region. And if I pull this over here, it'll get dark, right? But this is all the dust we're looking at in here. But we really want to have longer exposures. But that is one of the oddest nebulae in the sky. It's an actual keyhole into blackness. Wouldn't that be funny if they found out it was a portal? Hey, it's a portal. If it's a portal that's a good light year across, or actually maybe half a light year across. Perhaps. That's neat, huh? Wow. Very nice. All right, so we've got 8 here. Yeah, we're going to let a few more happen. We'll go to 10. And then we'll call it for a night. I'm really happy you guys came out tonight. This is a lot of fun. Now again, when we look at something this far away, we're talking about, oh gosh, we're talking about something that might be, let me get a value for this one. Yeah, you know what? When the light that we're seeing from this one, which is, this thing's about, I think 1,300 light years away. Let me look and see. What's it give for distance? It doesn't give the distance, but that's okay. I know that it's about 1,300. Now, that means this is light we're seeing that was 1,300 years ago. Okay? And at 1,300 and, say, 1,350 years ago, it was approximately 680 AD here on Earth. And it was the rise of the Islamic Golden Age here. And it was actually beginning to flourish when the light you're seeing right now left that object. Okay? And in China, the Tang Dynasty had nearly reached its pinnacle of influence. Okay? So, anyone here looking back at us from the moment that the light left would have seen the Tang Dynasty rising to its pinnacle. That's how this particular object influenced. This is actually how we can look at these objects and say, put it in terms of what was happening on Earth at the time. It helps point out the scale of the universe, doesn't it? Really cool. There's galaxies out there that we look at, and when the light left them to come to us now that we see, when the light actually left those galaxies, Earth wasn't here yet. Not only that, the Milky Way galaxy hadn't formed yet. How about that? So in the time the light left that galaxy, traveled through the universe to get to us to see that one time. We didn't actually see this galaxy, but it's a distant galaxy. The light left there as it came here. During that whole time, the Milky Way formed, stars formed and died. Spiral arms formed. Spiral arms were populated by very massive big stars. They went in supernova, filled the galaxy with dust and other elements made in their nuclear furnaces. And then Lo and behold, somewhere in the galaxy, just about 2/3 of the way out, a little star was formed called the Sun, and planets began to form. Meanwhile, the light isn't even here yet from that distant galaxy. And by the time it came here, Earth was where we are today. So you can see that the universe is like a time machine. If only we could look back at Earth from the vantage point of the objects we look at. That'd be pretty cool. All right, and this will be our last object, number 15. We're going to take 15 images of this guy. And again, as I said, when this light that we're seeing right now left that object, the Tang Dynasty in China was becoming very influential, and so forth. Pretty cool. You know, the Islamic Golden Age was beginning to flourish at that time, and we also had the best scientists and the best medical technicians were in the Islamic world at that time. And when they looked away from science and so forth, they stopped progressing and retreated back into the Dark Ages where they are today. You know, if you're looking at like Iran, a theocratically run country. So they stopped looking at anything like science, and they allowed it to just fall by the wayside. All right, this will be our 17th and final. I know I never say what I'm gonna really do, am I? Save exactly a scene. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed doing this with you tonight. And I hope you had as much fun as I sure did. I really enjoyed doing this stuff. Thank you so much for your very, very kind donations. My love to all of you. Thank you. And I will see you on the next Sky Tour. All right? And if you have any questions, remember, I'm not only available here, right down there, contact skytour@gmail.com. If you want to ask me anything, send us a message. Okay? And if you are going to get the t-shirts from us for the $25 or more donations, then just put your sizes in an email to us at Contact Sky Tour, okay? All right. So, folks, you have a good night, and I'll try to weather the storm. We didn't lose power yet, but it's snowing like a banshee outside. In fact, we're about to enter blizzard conditions, so it's probably a good time to sign off, because if we lose power, I only have the wood stove to keep the house warm, but that's okay. Anyway, good night all, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Stars so bright in the sky, on Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare, galaxies beyond compare. Sky tour in the night so clear, brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see, streaming light for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds, stories of the cosmos told. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the just a way. Every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand